Fans are reacting and they are saying the Treasure is one of their favorite ships with one of the best shows of all time. I have seen fans say they would take people on this cruise just to see the Moana stage show. That's a huge statement. This is an expensive cruise. People are raving about it. The Haunted Mansion Parlor is a huge favorite. There are a lot of really fun details in there that we're gonna dive into. There's also a lot of different new entertainment being added to this ship. I really think they're kind of trying this out because of the Disney Adventure. I am really expecting some of these elements to be implemented on the other ships. We'll see how that goes. We know though that Disney loves to do that. They love to try something out, and once it really hits, they're gonna put it everywhere. And I honestly think that the Haunted Mansion Parlor might be one of those aspects. Although I could see them keeping it just on the newer ships to draw people to the newer ships. Anyway, there are so many amazing details from the parks on this ship. If you are a Disney park lover, I think this has a lot of draw for Disney park people because the IP implementation is amazing. There is so much intellectual property from the Disney parks that is on this ship. So real quick, the Disney Treasure is Disney Cruise Line's newest ship. It is a sister ship to the Disney Wish. So there were some questions on how the Disney Treasure would deliver, and fan reactions are definitely saying that it delivers. We're gonna get into the good and not so good. Some of the things they've made better and some that could still use some improvement. But I've got to say, I really think the Disney Treasure is going to become a fan favorite for so many reasons. Over the last couple of weeks, they have had their media preview sailing, so we've seen a lot of reactions from that. But Saturday, December 21st, was the first time that paying guests have boarded the Disney Treasure for its maiden voyage. They will be doing 7-night sailings to Eastern and Western Caribbean, including Disney Cruises' private island, Castaway Cay. The Disney Treasure just might be Disney Cruise Line's best ship yet. I am actually shocked that I'm saying this. I really didn't have high hopes for the Treasure. Maybe that's why it delivers so well. One of the really great things about the Disney Treasure, I think, is the cohesiveness. The theme is adventure, and it really comes across like it's very cohesive throughout the entire ship, and I don't think they've really done this anywhere before. The classic ships, the Magic and Wonder, have that old ocean liner feel, and then the Disney Dream and Fantasy are just a little bit more luxury with a little bit less Disney in your face, although it's a Disney ship. The Wish and Treasure are really taking it over the top, and the Disney Adventure, man, that's just a whole nother story. But I think some of the aspects of the Disney Treasure come from the Disney Adventure and how they've had to rethink some of the things that they do because of that. So for the Disney Wish, it's meant to be like a castle at sea, Cinderella's castle, the grand hall. When you walk in, it's all really beautiful, but the entire ship and its theming is not necessarily cohesive. It's got the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge, which you're not going to find in any castle anywhere. The Marvel restaurant doesn't actually fit into that theme either, so with the Treasure, it's just so cohesive. I really love it. The theme is adventure. Captain Minnie is ready in her adventure outfit. The bars, the Skipper Society, which is the Jungle Cruise, clearly that's adventure. Haunted Mansion, I mean, that's an adventure to me. The Hey Hey Cafe, of course, from Moana. The Jade Cricket, which is from Mulan. Everything in here is based on adventure, and they carry that out throughout the shows and things that are happening as well. So let's talk about some of the actual things going on here. I've got to go into the favorites first. I will definitely get into the cons in a little bit, but I want to start with the fun stuff. And of course, I think we have to start with the biggest one, that is the Haunted Mansion Parlor. Fan reactions for the Haunted Mansion Parlor are over the top. Oh my gosh. Honestly, I don't understand how they didn't have this years ago. I'm so excited that they have implemented this on the ships. Haunted Mansion is my favorite ride since I was a teeny tiny human. I have always loved that ride, and I think it's been a long time coming for them to really enhance on that. In hindsight, I'm super glad they did, because every fan reaction I have seen is that the Disney Treasure did it right. And not only did they deliver, they really over-delivered. Okay, so first of all, the Haunted Mansion Parlor is going to have most likely a 45-minute limit for a while. Definitely on the maiden voyage, they had the signs there already for the preview cruises. They want to make sure everybody gets time in the parlor, so they do have limits at first. So just know that. Be ready when you go in there to get all of the fun in. And if you want to take your tiny humans in there, that's okay too. This is available for any age up until 9 p.m. Obviously, these things change, but that's the way it is right now. The Haunted Mansion Parlor on the Treasure is in the location of the Hyperspace Lounge on the Wish. It will be the Haunted Mansion Parlor on the Disney Destiny as well, which is their hero and villains theme ship that's coming out next year. After seeing how well they delivered on things in the Treasure, I can't wait to see what they do with the Destiny. Some of the fun things that I've seen from the media cruises and from fan reactions. First of all, before you even get into the Haunted Mansion lounge, it's Haunted Mansion themed outside the lounge. So that brings the cohesiveness again, because in other ships, it's general ship theming outside of the lounge, then you go into the theming in the space. This one really brings it out so that you're getting that feel before you even get into the lounge. There were Imagineers on the preview cruises talking about things in the parlor. I didn't know they did this. This is amazing. And before you even get into the Haunted Mansion parlor, they've got a lot of props from the movie right here in the entrance. First of all, you're just gonna have to stand there and absorb that as a fan. Then you get to walk into it, and people are saying that this is just like stepping off the dune buggy and into the ride. They've got the Madame Leota seance. So when you walk into the lounge, you're going to see so many things that you're gonna see on the ride. The wallpaper, the Donald Duck chair, of course, the ghosts. This is also an experience beyond that. It is really meant to feel like you are being watched. There's the eyes on the wallpaper, there's the eyes that are gonna be moving in the artwork. It really is meant to be kind of creepy. While you're in there are going to be 8 different shows. I think there's probably more like chapters. It's kind of a progression that will happen throughout them. One part of that is going to be the Madame Leota seance. There's going to be a whole lot of reactions and actions in the room throughout the seance part and through lots of the parts, I'm sure. It's a whole story where the room is going to interact with the story. The drinks actually get a death certificate, and if you're really getting into it, they have a scavenger hunt. I don't know the full story here yet, but there's something that's going to go on with the captain, and then you will see the captain's hat in the fish tank. This is part of a scavenger hunt, so if you want to add a little bit of extra fun, that's something you can look into while you're on board. And one of the really cool things I think here is that you're going to get a different perspective from every corner of the room. There's a lot of seating actually in here, and the stories play out a little differently depending on where you're sitting, because what's playing to you is going to be different. For example, if you're facing the fish tank, or if you are over in the Donald Duck area, it's going to be a little bit different perspective from each area. So one of the big fan suggestions I saw was to make sure and go in there and enjoy all 4 areas. With the time limit, that's what it is. But with 7 days, there should be plenty of time to get into the Haunted Mansion parlor. I know I'm going to spend a lot of time in there. That is not all the fun that they have, though, by any means. One fun fact here in the Haunted Mansion parlor is this melting bust. This is actually based on an idea that never really happened. Thanks to Mammoth Club for this Easter egg. Raleigh Crump was one of the original Imagineers on the Haunted Mansion. He wanted to have a melting candle character that actually never made it into the attraction. So this is an Easter egg and a nod to Raleigh Crump and that Candleman character. We could talk about the Haunted Mansion parlor forever. Let's move on now, going over to the Jungle Cruise. Now, the Skipper Society is based on the Jungle Cruise. Obviously, the Jungle Cruise is a huge fan favorite at the Disney parks. The Skipper Society Lounge is meant to be like you are on your own Jungle Cruise boat, the M's Empress. They're going to have a lot of nods and Easter eggs here. You're going to see plenty of them on the walls over here. They've got some cool drinks and treats. I think the coolest part in this lounge, though, has got to be these little radios. These are supposed to be Jungle Cruise cues from around the world. So you're going to hear all the fun in different languages. I think that's just really cool. So, for example, the Plaza de Coco restaurant is one of the 3 main dining restaurants. You'll rotate through all 3 of the main dining restaurants, and you'll go to each one twice. They will have different activities and different menus each night so that it's a new experience. In Plaza de Coco, they're going to have the Plaza of Santa Cecilia. These are going to be obviously the flavors of Mexico. It's a multi-night Coco-themed theatrical dining experience. Night 2 is going to build on night 1. On the first night, Miguel and the town mariachis entertain with lively song and dance. And then on your second night in the Plaza de Coco, these 2 nights will most likely not be back to back, just throughout your cruise. The second night will be the Plaza's transformation to a fun-filled Dia de los Muertos celebration. This is going to have Mama Coco, Abuelita, and the rest of the Rivera family. I've heard the food is really good here as well. Fans are definitely saying this entertainment is really good. It definitely does seem to be a fan favorite, just like Frozen is. However, I think the food is probably going to get a little bit higher marks on Plaza de Coco than the Frozen restaurant does. I think it of course depends a little bit on what type of Mexican food you're used to, but this is supposed to be some authentic Mexican food. I've heard the shrimp appetizer, the enchilada appetizer are a couple of good hits, and they've got the churros here, which is a great idea. For the Marvel restaurant, they're going to have 2 nights as well. The first one is going to be a brand new Marvel Celebration of Heroes Groot remix. This is going to be on the screens around you. You're going to follow Groot during his quest to throw the ultimate surprise party for his friend Rocket. They're going to have some hit songs from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and they're also going to have some Marvel trivia. You get to use that quantum core on your table. That I think sounds like a lot of fun. I've heard this is a little bit scaled down from the Disney Wish, and fan reaction is that they are really liking this because it's just a little bit less intrusive, but also fun. And for the second night, they are going to have the Avengers Quantum Encounter. This will have a special in-person appearance with Spider-Man. And then 1923 is your more classic California cuisine. They've got the storyboards, sketches, and props. These are going to have the adventure-themed movies like Tarzan, The Lion King, Aladdin. If you are into the animation, make sure you look around in 1923. Another thing that they have done with the restaurants, I think, is going to enhance the entire flow of dinner altogether. So with the main dining meals, those dinners usually take about an hour and a half. That can get to be a little long sometimes. They used to do 2 menus. One had the appetizers and entrees. They would give you that menu at the beginning, order your appetizers and entrees. About an hour later, you're going to get the dessert menu and you can order your dessert. Obviously, that breaks up the process, makes it take a little longer. So now they have actually added the desserts to the appetizers and entree menu. There's just 1 menu, and they're going to take the order all at once. I think this is kind of a test that they're doing. I think it's probably going to work out really well, likely to make dinner much faster, and certainly a better flow because it doesn't have that interruption aspect for the dessert. Another fan favorite people are raving about on the Disney Treasure are their stage shows. Of course, Disney Cruise Line stage shows are amazing. This is another thing that people are really raving about though on the Disney Treasure. And not just the Moana stage show. There are multiple shows going on the Treasure. We're going to start with Moana, of course. I have literally seen people say they would take people on the cruise just to see Moana. It's got a great story. The props and the puppets, the visual effects, they are top notch. There are so many people I have seen say they had really high expectations for this show, and it totally delivered. It over-delivered. I have seen dozens and dozens of people saying this is the best Disney stage show they've ever seen. Not just on Disney Cruise Line ships, in general, this is the best Disney stage show. Shiny is also another aspect of the Moana stage show. People, obviously, Taka is impressive. The fire, the puppets, these are huge. Shiny is also another one that people are really saying is amazing. It's very different, but it's like way better. I've seen people say they have had actual tears from watching the show. I can't wait to get in there and check that one out. The acting is amazing. The lighting is amazing. The stories are so well written, of course, the decorations, but it's the crew and the performers that make the show so amazing. And not just that show, but everything on a Disney cruise. Disney Cruise is so heartfelt and nostalgic, I think, because of the crew. You just don't experience these magical dynamics on other cruise lines. You have great crew on other ones, but Disney is really good at finding really talented performers, and that's what you're gonna see and remember a lot of from these cruises. And they have also taken this into that atrium. This is where they are starting to have more performances in here as well. And I think this is a great idea. It helps break up the flow and the traffic on the ship. It gives everybody multiple options to see more things, to experience more things. I think this is probably inspired by the Adventure, because the Adventure is going to have this garden area with a stage that is going to have shows going on, it seems like almost all day. So they've really ramped up some of their offerings on the cruise ships because of the Adventure, and I think we're seeing that come back to the Disney Treasure now. And one of the things that I think is really cool that they have done here is a lot of fans are saying that they're doing some progressive aspects within the ship. So this kind of makes me think of the Star Wars hotel that didn't do too well, but one of the favorites way within that hotel was how it is progressive. So what I mean by that is that there's going to be continuing storylines through different things on the ship, and it seems like they are doing that with more than just the restaurant. They are also doing it with like scavenger hunts, and there's this really fun comedy duo that seems to be giving a progressive storyline as well. Now, I don't think you actually have to go to all of the things to understand or to get some benefits from it, but for those really deep dives, they do have so many layers of fun that can be had on the ship. Now, new for the Disney Treasure, they are going to have 2 entertainment mascots. This is Sage and Coriander. They open up the sail away party, and they're going to be popping up all over the ship, telling stories and keeping everyone entertained and laughing. Disney Cruise Line entertainment hosts are always amazing. I think having this Sage and Coriander as a duo really just is going to take it up a notch. I have seen so many people say they were just so busy laughing that this is really a highlight of the cruise that they were really surprised about. One of the favorites, though, is definitely the Choose Wisely. This is an Indiana Jones comedy adventure. Basically, they are going to reenact each of the Indy movies, and then the guests get to choose how the story would end, and then they act that out. So much fun. Improv is obviously a great comedic tool, and being able to involve the audience always takes it to the next level. This is another one of the aspects where people saying they would love to book a cruise just to experience these two and all of their interactions throughout the ship. So make sure you check out Sage and Coriander. And this is why they've got to have 7 nights. There's just so much going on. And honestly, I think that you probably have to do a couple of cruises to experience it all. Another new fun one that they have here is Villains Game Night. This is like Hollywood Squares, but with Disney villains. I've seen quite a few fans say that this is another favorite. So already we're getting into a lot of positive reactions with the Disney Treasure that weren't as positive maybe with the Disney Wish. And the Disney Wish is a great ship. A lot of people love it, but a lot of people said there were things to be improved, and that's what they have done in some part with the Treasure. There are a few misses still. We'll get back to that in a minute. There is just so many small details from the parks on the Disney Treasure, and they're gonna be everywhere. For example, they have a lot of art in the stairwells. The stairwells is a great place to see some really obscure, unique art on the Disney cruise ships. On the Treasure, they've got Haunted Mansion and other park IP in the art on the stairwells. Like, that is just so cool. This is some of the background stuff and the making of stuff that you're never really going to see, that they just don't really have in the parks, but they put it on the cruise ship because you really do have the time to sit and enjoy it. You really have to look around when you're on the ships. There is so much detail. And one detail that I really love in the lounges are these chargers. They actually have little USB chargers in the lounges, which is very smart. Another fan reaction here has been about the lobby. It's really beautiful. The blues and the golds are really vibrant. Fan reactions are also that it's really warm and embracing because of the colors, but also because of the foliage of the jungle aspects. The staircase is actually meant to be like a waterfall. There is even foliage at the bottom, and they have really beautiful mosaics all around. They really took all the aspects from the Disney Wish that were really good and made them even better for this ship. They've also got some really cool merch on here. I absolutely love the Sea Trinkets collection. Of course, this is going to be your Haunted Mansion items. Okay, so here are the things that are still a little bit of a miss. With the Wish class ships, they have broken up the adult areas. On the first 4 ships, they've got a specific area for the adult bars and nightclub. It's kind of its own little area, so you can just get away, and if you really want to, you can just dip out of the noise of the ship entirely by going into that area. It's really nice, it's really calm, and they broke that up on the Wish class ships. So the bars and pubs are a little more open now. For example, the Skipper Society is kind of open, so while you're in that really cool area, you're also going to have a lot of traffic and noise around the perimeters because there's just a lot of movement in that area. With this, they have also broken up the Quiet Cove area on the first 4 ships. They've got a pool, the Cove Cafe, hot tubs. It's all in one adults only area. It's a little bit larger and it's nice to just get away to it. On the Wish, they've broken that up. They've got this infinity pool, which looks really nice, but it's awkward to get into. It's really small. And then above that, you have the smoking section. Granted, there's not a ton of smoking on Disney cruise ships that I've noticed. Sometimes that can actually be a good place to get away. But if somebody is there and you're in that pool, you're just gonna have cigarette or cigar smoke, and that's not really the most serene aspect. They also have one hot tub. It's kind of over on the side, and there's just a lot of noise pollution right there from the Aquamouse. So the layouts left a little bit to be desired. These things are still the same because it is the same ship layout as the Wish. They definitely learned from the Wish, from the Adventure, and from their other ships some things that they needed to change. These bars look a lot more fun. They have more cohesiveness. At this point, I really don't see a way they can change the smoking section. They definitely can't change the volume on the Aquamouse over that hot tub. So these things are some of the not-so-greats about this class of ship. They also have a deck 4 where people really like to go walk on the first 4 ships. This is a full circle. On the Disney Treasure, it's not. You're just gonna have to go back and forth or go get on a treadmill overlooking the ocean from the fitness club. But honestly, any of the ships can have a few things that are hit or miss. They really did make the Disney Treasure so much better, I think. They took so much feedback. The implementation of the park intellectual properties all over the ship is a huge win in my book. I can't wait to get on this ship. If you're enjoying this video and want to support the channel, we would love that. Consider checking out our brand new Patreon. Your support helps us create even more Disney cruise content. Our main goal is to make sure that you feel informed and confident in planning your Disney cruise adventure. And please share this with your friends. Let us know in the comments below, what are you most excited about on the Treasure? And if you haven't seen it yet, go check out some cruise news or booking the most expensive and luxurious Disney cruise.